So I don't know if you've come across one of these commercials from Red Robin. I guess Red Robin created these new commercials recently, and basically what it is I've seen two different ones from Red Robin, and they both revolve around children screaming and crying. So the first one is basically a mom in a car, and there's like two kids in the back. They're like anywhere between the ages of like 4 and 6, somewhere around that range, and they're bickering back and forth. Hey, my burger tastes like pickles. My burger tastes like feet. Blah blah blah, and they're just like being loud and obnoxious and annoying, and basically just noise pollution, right? Like it's just ear piercingly annoying. And at the very end of the commercial, it says, oh, I should have went to Red Robin. Like that's going to solve something, right? Because like they're like 5 years old. 5-year-old kids don't know food quality, right? Like you could give them Red Robin, you can give them a fine dining restaurant burger, you can give them McDonald's, you can give them a random burger from the fucking dumpster that someone threw out, and they're not going to know the difference. Like 5-year-old kids don't know food quality. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, like you're going to go to Red Robin and suddenly they're going to stop complaining. But the other commercial is even worse. So the other one is like a standard Red Robin commercial. It says, come to Red Robin, we have these deals, $9.99, and you get bottomless fries, and just like a regular restaurant commercial, and straightforward. And you're thinking, okay, run of the mill, cool. And then at the very end, it says, and that way, if you go to Red Robin, you can avoid this. And then it cuts to two kids screaming to the top of their lungs. I don't remember if they're in the back of the car too or something like that, but it's like two kids screaming at the top of their lungs. Just, again, ear piercing, annoying, just like it. The second I hear it, it's like enraging. And the reason is because it's so unnecessary and so disconnected from the product that they're trying to sell, right? Like you're a restaurant, you're trying to sell restaurant food, and you're trying to go with this new theme of polluting people's houses or whatever place that they're watching their videos with your advertisement noise pollution. You're polluting their airspace with the sound of children crying and screaming. And it's like, is this really what works? Because you have to understand, like, these companies, they have marketing teams that they invest tens of millions of dollars into, if not hundreds of millions, depending on the company or corporation, right? Like if you're talking about well, I won't get into the weeds, but they invest a lot of money into marketing. So like these people, their entire job is to study human psychology and figure out, okay, what can we change in our commercials to make it more influential on the people watching them, to where they're more likely to buy our product, right? And this was the outcome in 2026. After decades and decades and decades, if not over a century, of extensive marketing research and sociology and psychology research into human beings and their brains and how they work and how they function, down to the colors that they put in the commercials, like all the little subtleties that you don't even think about, they focus on, because they all have some sort of subliminal effect on you. And their end goal, their end result rather, is two kids screaming to the top of their lungs. That is the 2026 end result. After all the marketing research, that's what Red Robin decided would sell their fucking food, was two annoying ass little kids screaming to the top of their lungs. Like, I'm never going to go back to Red Robin just out of spite. Like, that did the opposite. I'm like, I fucking hate Red Robin now. Like, like genuinely never going back. I love their tower of onion rings, but I don't even think, just based on principle, like after these commercials, I don't think I can like give them money, honestly, because like the amount of like just rage that I felt, you know what I mean? Like, it's like if somebody just like screams in your ear and you get that like instant sort of adrenaline rush, and it kind of like gives you that rage. That's kind of the experience, right, that you'll have when you see these commercials. Another example of like a commercial that's just psychological torment is, I don't know if you've come across these K1 racing commercials, but basically, it's just like a racetrack speedway, type thing. It's like a go-kart for adults. And they put like really, really annoying music in the background. And then you know, they, they, they have like, I don't even know how, like, snippets of the go-karts going around, and I guess maybe I've seen like an arcade in it, like I don't know, like basically it just shows go-karts going around a track with like really, really terrible music in the background. And one of the songs that they use is like, it's so annoying, and it sounds like an annoying chipmunk, like humanoid, a creature, trying to sing non-lyrics in the background, and it's just so bad. And every time I have to, just like like I have to go to my phone and just wait until that skip button comes up, like just, obviously I do that whenever an ad comes up if I have the opportunity, but like that's when it's like a priority, you know what I mean? Or like the Red Robin ones, like I have to, like, as soon as I know like the Red Robin ones or like the K1 racing commercials come on, I have to like rush over to my phone because it will just fry my brain. Like it will literally fry my brain. Like these commercials like that they come up with nowadays are literal psychological torment. Like they don't even make sense. And like one of them, the K1 racing, like one of their it was so cheesy. It was like a guy and a girl going to do the K1 racing together, and then it just shows like the text of K1 and chill, like, you're gonna go and you're gonna it's like Netflix and chill, but go-karts and chill. It's like, is this really what you're trying to sell people? I mean, come on. And like, I don't give a fuck about go-kart racing, you know what I mean? Like maybe like if I'm in a situation where the opportunity comes up and it's not an inconvenience whatsoever, maybe I'm already on some sort of trip or something like that, sure, why not? But like, I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. So like, they keep targeting me, like you would think that they would have some sort of timer, like, okay, how long does it take for him to hit the skip button? Oh, he does it immediately every time. Maybe we should target him with different types of ads, right? But no, they just target me. So it's like these advertisements are so stupid. They don't even cater to the people that they're supposed to be catering to, right? And they're just so terribly done. And like now they're just obnoxious and offensive. They're just like, they're just so bad and like enraging. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's another example that I can give. It's actually a lot more mundane, but like, back in the day I was thinking about opening or like starting my own like janitorial service. And so like I was looking at places where you could get supplies, for different types of supplies that I would need for that type of a business. And there was this one, I think it's like Harbor Freight or something like that. I Googled Harbor Freight like once, and I'm pretty sure that was the reason I Googled it. But I remember it was like back in 2023. Okay. I Googled Harbor Freight one fucking time. It's 2026 right now. I still get Harbor Freight commercials on YouTube because ever since I did it that one time, I would get them all the time. Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight, nonstop, continuously. To this day, I still get Harbor Freight commercials. It's like, do you not think that like me skipping immediately, like for the 10,000th time, isn't like sending the message like, hey, if you're going to torture me with commercials, at least mix it up. Like give me something, that might be a little bit down my alley. Like one in like a million commercials. I mean, realistically, it's probably like one in like 10,000. One in 10,000 commercials actually light that light bulb for me where I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's very rare, but it's like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of interesting. I think one was like for like a supplement, because I'm like into supplements and stuff. So like, I don't even remember. I guess the advertisement wasn't that effective because I don't remember like what the company was, but like I just remember like it had something to do with supplements, and so I like clicked on it, and then I think I bookmarked the website, and that's usually what I do if like I ever come across something that is selling something that I might be interested in the future, but I don't really want to look at it in the moment. I'll just like open it in Chrome, bookmark it, and then I'll just go back. So I think that's what I did. And I think I might have done that like once, maybe twice in the last like 3 or 4 years. Um, Probably only once for a commercial that actually came up, but like the other time was, I think, for like one of those ads that you get when you're like scrolling, you know. I don't remember if it was on like Facebook or YouTube or what, but yeah, I mean, like these commercials are like literal torment, like literal psychological torment. Like the kids screaming to the top of their lungs. Like, how is that selling food? Like, that's so it's so nauseating, and like it's the opposite of appetizing. You know what I mean? It like, if I was hungry before, me hearing kids screaming is just gonna make me like less hungry. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna like ruin my appetite, because it's just gross. You know, I don't want to hear kids screaming at the top of their lungs. And again, like what makes it so infuriating is the fact that it's so unnecessary, has absolutely nothing to do with the product. And then it doesn't even make sense, because like that second, Red Robin commercial that I was telling you about, where, it's a regular commercial, and then at the very end they say, and then you don't have to deal with this, and then it's two like 5-year-old kids screaming at the top of their lungs. How don't you have to deal with that? They might have been like 3 or 4. I don't remember. How don't you have to deal with that? Because like, I go to restaurants, like back in the day when I used to go to restaurants a little bit more often, like there would oftentimes be kids screaming and crying. So like, what do you mean you don't have to deal with that? All that's going to happen is you're going to go to the restaurant, and those kids are going to be screaming and crying at the restaurant and annoying the fuck out of everybody else. So it doesn't even make sense. So you're just putting loud noise in the ad to get people's attention, so that people like the low IQ people are going to be like, huh? Loud noise? What's this about? Oh, Red Robin? I guess I have to go there now. Like, you have to be so low IQ. Like, you have to be like 80 IQ. Like, have no critical thinking skills. Literally just be told what to do, right? Like, have no decision-making skills. Just like, all you can do is like follow instructions, because you don't have any sort of like mental dominion over your own decision making, that you need to be told what to do 24/7, like 80 IQ bullshit. Like, those are the only people who these commercials are going to work on. But again, like decades and decades, it's like over a century of extensive marketing research, and really diving into the deep depths of human psychology to figure out what's going to convince people to buy our product. And the end result is two fucking 3-year-old babies screaming at the top of their lungs. I mean, either one, they're terrible at marketing research and they're terrible at creating commercials that captivate people, or two, this actually does work, but it's like, since I'm like 1 or 2 standard deviations above like maybe average IQ, I don't even know. I don't even think I'm that smart, but like in this scenario, I guess that would be the case, because it's like average people respond to this. So they must be like several levels lower than me in terms of intellect, which I don't really think I'm that smart. So it's like, these people must just suck at creating commercials. You know what I mean? Like they literally just wanted to come up with some way to create a loud sound. And that's another thing too, is like all these commercials nowadays, it's just about being loud and obnoxious. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it has any correlation or connection to what they're selling. They just have to put something really loud and obnoxious in there. I think I just saw like a commercial for like some clothing company, and there was some guy screaming. I'm pretty sure it was like along those lines. And it's one of those things where like you see these commercials and you kind of halfway pay attention, because you just dissociate from them, because they're just so obnoxious and offensive to all of your senses. But like, I kind of like halfway saw it, and I was like, what the fuck does like somebody screaming have to do with selling clothes? Like, it's psychological torment. That's what it is. It really is psychological torment. So yeah, I had to get all of that out there. I don't know if you guys have seen these Red Robin commercials. They're terrible. These K1 Racing ones, oh my god, they've been tormenting me forever. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you have a good day. Definitely subscribe, and talk to you guys next time.